I just watched Oppenheimer, and I thought it was really good. Probably my favorite movie of 2023. Which probably doesn't mean much because I don't really watch movies. And to be honest, I only went because a friend wanted to go to a movie theater. And the only things that were showing was that I knew was this and Barbie. But I'm not gonna watch Barbie. Like, come on, Barbie? But anyway, I thought the movie was good. I'm not going to spoil the movie, since I insist that you watch it if you have the time. But I totally understand if you don't. I mean, the movie's long as shit. 3 hours? Before watching the movie, I didn't know anything about Oppenheimer or the Manhattan Project. And I didn't know anyone that watched the movie either. So I basically came into the movie spoiler free. The one thing that I did hear was that the movie was about Oppenheimer's life, rather than just about the atomic bomb. But I could have heard that wrong, and it might have been the other way around, since the movie was mainly about the Manhattan Project. Which I don't have a problem with or anything, since it's basically what I expected. And even if they did add like more details about his life, it probably wouldn't have fit. I mean, the movie's already 3 hours long. I mean, how much more can you realistically add without making it drag even more? I mean, I thought at certain parts it was already dragging. And there definitely are some weird scenes, like the one where it's like the middle of a sex scene, and the girl's like, say it, forcing him to say the famous line. But other than some weird scenes here and there, I thought the directing was pretty good overall. And the actors were well casted, especially the one that plays Oppenheimer. I thought he did a really good job. The movie itself was fairly simple to follow along, even for me who didn't know anything about Oppenheimer, besides the famous quote. The science and political explanations are fairly dumbed down so that anyone can really understand what's happening. There are a lot of characters, but at the same time, you don't really have to think and be aware of many of them, just like in real life. And by the end of the movie, I completely forgot about a majority of the scientists. I also heard there were complaints about the atomic bomb scene. Personally, I thought it was fine. I thought it was alright. I also later found out that they recreated the explosion scene on set instead of just making a CGI. So I thought that was pretty cool. In my opinion, the weakest part of the movie is definitely the soundtrack. Or maybe it was just the way that they do it. But at certain points, it's beautiful, and then at other points, it just feels like misplaced, or the audio just doesn't really feel right, or wasn't sitting right with me. But despite all that, the movie doesn't try to be anything that it isn't. The movie definitely isn't for everybody, since the movie leans towards being a more enjoyable history lesson rather than entertainment. A little side note. Besides me and my friend, and maybe like one other pair, the people in the theater with us were definitely more up there in the age demographic. Basically people in their 60s or 70s, I'd say. Definitely older people. I just thought it was interesting. But in my opinion, Oppenheimer is a thought-provoking story that tells of science, humanity, and the foreseeable end. I could have heard that, or like, heard that